CVE150.2 Engineering Graphics, Module 6 Isometric Drawing. So for this lesson, we will be discussing what is isometric drawing and study on how to draw a isometric view. So by the end of this module, you should be able to understand the process in making an isometric view of an object and able to draw an isometric view of an object. So what is an isometric drawing? So it is a 3D representation of an object, room, building, or design on a 2D surface. So technically it is a 2D but drawn in a 3D representation. So one of the defining characteristics of an isometric drawing compared to other types of 3D representation like perspective, diametric, is that the final image is not distorted. So it is not distorted in a way that it shows the um, actual length of the object or the actual dimension label. So this is also due to the fact that the foreshortening of an axis is equal. So the word isometric comes from the Greek, means equal measure. So in an isometric drawing, the object appears as if it is being viewed from above from one of its corners. So this is an example of an isometric view of a cube with the axis being set out from the corner point. So isometric drawings begin with one vertical line along which 2 points are defined. So this line is the vertical line. Now, if you know the measurement of the cube, so you will inscribe what is the length of this line here, the side of the cube or the corner of the cube. So any line set out from these points, so from the vertical, should be constructed at angle 30 degrees. So this line should be 30 degrees with respect to the horizontal, and also this line. This is 30 degrees. Also these lines. So lahat ng lines is 30 degrees. So this also, so 30 degrees, and this one. So lahat siya 30 degrees. So that is isometric drawing. Now back to the graphical projections. Isometric drawing is an auxiliary drawing under orthographic projection. So this is isometric drawing. So there are many types of 3D representation of an object. So there is a perspective. So the point there why it is not distorted, because if you can see from the perspective, it is somewhat distorted. So parang lumiliit yung object yung sa backside niya. But in isometric drawing, hindi siya nag-distort. So ito yung isometric na drawing. Okay, so what is the difference between isometric drawing and isometric projection? So in terms of method of drawing, isometric drawing and isometric projection are the same in method of drawing. But the difference is that the dimensions in isometric drawing are the actual dimension of the drawing. While on the isometric projection, the isometric scale is to be used. So isometric scale, so this is the isometric drawing. So in a isometric projection, the actual length is reduced to 82% of its measurement. So say if the actual length is 100 mm, in the isometric projection is 82 mm siya. Why? Because of the isometric scale. So isometric scale So if this line is the true scale, a line at angle 30 degrees is drawn, and the measurements or the actual measurements are projected vertically onto the this isometric this line here, 30 degrees line. So this now creates the isometric scale. So as a result, the dimensions are less than the actual ones. So to get isometric dimensions from the actual dimension is to be reduced to into 82%. So drawing of objects are seldom drawn into through isometric projections or isometric drawing. So isometric drawing are also called as true isometric projections, since using isometric scale. So isometric scale is inconvenient. So using isometric drawing is also advantageous because the measurement could be made directly from a drawing. So since you are using the actual measurements, and also the isometric drawing are 22% larger than the isometric projection. So since the proportion are the same, the increased size doesn't affect the pictorial value of this representation, and at the same time it might be done quickly because you are using the actual measurements. So what are the steps in creating an isometric drawing? So first is you will draw the isometric axis, that is the vertical line. So you have a vertical line, and also the lines that is 30 degrees with respect to the horizontal. So that is your isometric axis. So dito ka mag sisimula. So this vertical line here will be the corner, first corner of your drawing. So it depends on which corner um, will you use in this orthographic projection. So isometric drawing is a vice versa of an orthographic projection. So from an orthographic projection, you will create an isometric drawing. So this is the side view, and this is the top view. So say you will use this corner as this corner here. So mag-inscribe ka ng lines. So say 35 and 60. So medyo malayo-layo siya. And then the height would be this height. This is 45. And yan. So if meron ka ng height or this corner here, so you will create a isometric box. So these lines should be parallel with each other. So this must also be 30 degrees. So we will use a triangle here, and you will draw the vertical lines. So dito ka magsisimula ng isometric box. So you will mark the principal dimensions, so the height, the width, and the length. So this is the height, the width, and the length to their true values along the isometric axis. So yung ginawa natin kanina. So you will now have your isometric box. So to complete the housing block by drawing lines parallel to the isometric axis and passing through the above markings. So you will using the orthographic projection, you will now draw the other lines. So this is 15, and then 20, 15, 20, 15. So this is 35 minus 45 is 10. So meron kang 10 dito. So yan na yung mga further detail nung isometric drawing mo. And then you will locate the principal corners. So saan yung mga corners? So these are the corners. So you will project another line there. So of all the features of the object on the three faces of the housing, block. So you will project lines here para ma-define mo yung mga corners mo. So this is now, so makita natin yung face ng isang object. So it looks like a stair with a thin block here dito na side. Okay, and then draw lines parallel to the axis and passing through the above points and obtain the isometric drawing of the object by darkening the visible edges. So the visible edges or the visible lines are these lines. So yung mga lines that defines our drawing. So isometric drawing shows the shows your three principal views. So the front view or this front view, the top view, and the side view. So ito yung pinapakita ng isometric drawing. So isometric drawing must also be dimension. So dapat may mga dimension yung isometric drawing para isometric drawing itself will define na yung kung ano yung itsura ng object, yung dimensions, yung figure na mismo ng object. So this is the isometric drawing. So from orthographic, magiging isometric siya. Then yung previous natin, from orthographic, from isometric, magiging orthographic siya. So that is isometric drawing. So mostly I've found my references online. So that ends our module 6, and thank you for listening and have a good day.